Hey, B, it's Jamie. That's me here. Welcome back to my channel. Let's go ahead and have us a quick chat regarding the Real Housewives of Potomac and their after show. Let's talk about it. All right, y'all. Before I hop into the after show, I definitely want to bring up Miss Candiace and her sit down and watch what happens live. Now, Andy decided to ask her questions from the audience regarding her body shaming Miss Ashley. Okay. At this time, when the questions were being asked, Miss Candiace ended up doubling down on her comments regarding wide body not being about her postpartum body, but she says she talks about Ashley's forehead all the time, okay? And Andy made sure to let her know, like, girl, that's still body shaming, right? And I just thought it was funny that Candiace doubled down on her comments, and which is why I feel as though she should not have apologized, because you truly meant what it was that you said. So I don't think that you should have apologized at all. If that's how you felt, that's what you meant. It is what it is. I was with Candiace when Candiace, pretty much talked about how, oh, well, if we're going to address the things that I've said, right, as far as body shaming or whatever, then we're going to have to do that across the board. Andy says you want to speak on, when I talk about her forehead, you want to speak on it and say, oh, well, that's still considered body shaming. This is what's interesting. Number one, I love that Candiace said, if we're going to talk about what I've done, let's talk about everybody. And we can start with Miss Karen, because Karen talked about Gizelle's hot box, right? Number two, for me, is whenever people have spoke on body shaming, they never spoke on things happening above the neck. I never knew that to be a part of body shaming. Now, it may be classified as something else, but for me, I've always saw people talk about the shape, like a person's shape or a person's weight or whatnot. And that's primarily what has been connected to body shaming. Now, it could be affiliated when you talk about a person's forehead and all this other stuff. It could be connected, it's on their body. It could be a part of body shaming. But whenever that whole body shaming hashtag, whatever came about, it wasn't primarily about that. So those are my thoughts about it. But I agree with Candiace 100%, like across the board. Like, let's pull up everybody's. Okay, I love how Candiace looked into the camera and said, let's work on that. Let's work on that. I definitely agree with her. When everybody else do it, nobody's saying anything. It's Kiki, it's laughter. But when it's Candiace doing it, then now it's a problem, right? Mia, and I told you guys this previously, Mia sat on the after show and said that she would never body shame another woman. But then she turned around and she put images of Candiace's feet on social media, and everybody thought that was a kiki. They loved it because they don't like Candiace, but y'all was just hollering about body shaming. And then once Mia does it to someone else, we're not talking about body shaming anymore. We're laughing at it because it's comical, because it's about Candiace and you don't like Candiace. I just find it funny that Mia said that she'll never do something, and then she turned around and did it. And for me, it's just like, never say never, right? Never say never. Somebody sent me some stuff, and I'm not going to too much touch on it right now because I have to look at it. But it seems like Mia could have reached out to Monique, or Monique could have possibly sent Mia some images to use to go against Candiace. Not fully sure, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm gonna look into that, and then I'll probably come back to you guys with another video, possibly whenever I get a chance to look at it or whatever. So that's that. What else ended up being said in this? Yes, she began to apologize. I guess she was about to do a if you are, or basically give out an if apology, if you were offended, if this, if that, right? And so Andy said, oh, that's what we're doing an if. I'm like, Andy, I appreciate you trying to hold her to task. I definitely appreciate you trying. A lot of people have done if apologies, and I just want to make sure that you've called everybody else out accordingly. Now, Candiace, you did say that if she was offended, she was offended. Okay, she was definitely offended, right? She says she's only apologizing one time. She's not going to apologize multiple times. I don't think you should have said anything, because I ain't changing over there with you. I ain't been changing on how you feel about Ashley. You still consider her a hater. You still consider her as a person you don't like, a person that you would rather not engage with on any level, except for, I guess, a level of mocking her and joking on her. It's okay. But outside of that, like, you don't really care for Ashley. So, girl, It is what it is, honey. Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below. And I know y'all gonna do that anyway, because it's just how y'all is, honey. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and talk about this after show, right? So during this after show, they talked about Candiace's music video. Mia speaks on being the first person to arrive and that there is no manager, okay? No manager around, nobody around to help, none of that, okay? She says that she was in an old parking lot. And I'm like, girl, an old parking lot, girl. How many parking lots are you going to find that are actually new, though? How many are you going to find that's actually new, Miss Mia? And even if it was a new, girl, y'all won't be able to film in it. The fuck? Okay, so Mia gets on my nerves. Mia really acts like she's this bougie person, and she's this, oh my god, like she's so high class and so better than everybody. But girl, your husband had to go and find you in a dungeon. Good night, be quiet. Okay, let's move on. I do agree with some of the ladies feeling like somebody should have been there to keep them updated, right? She should have just had an assistant, whether the assistant sent out a mass text and saying, hey guys, we're running 30 minutes behind, so if you need to just stop and grab you something to eat or whatever, go and do what you need to do, but be there by X, Y, Z time, or just a little tad bit behind, whatever. Like, I think that nothing's wrong with that. And even if they would have not have sent out the messages to give the people a heads up that they're running late, somebody could have been there to just give them the heads up, say, hey guys, Candiace is at a different location. She's running a little bit behind. They're filming this part of the video, but we'll be, with you guys in just a second if you want to hang tight. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? They could have had somebody, right? Mia, they speak on Mia crossing the line. Mia crossing the line with Miss Dorothy and feeling the right, I guess, to ask her about Candiace's husband, right? Mia says that she likes Miss Dorothy, honey. She likes her some Miss Dorothy. All of the ladies wanted to know the answer, right? I think Gizelle definitely wanted to know. Robyn wanted to know. Gizelle goes on to ask, if we are friends, why can't we ask? Well, we'll have to start with you then, Gizelle. If we're friends, why can't we ask you about the Jamal situation, especially in front of Karen? Why can't we ask you that? Why can't we be all up in your tea and up in your business? And when we do ask you that, why do you give us a BS answer? What is that about? We'll start with you before we move on to something else, okay? Wendy says that she feels as though Miss Girl crossed the line, Miss Mia, because that's Candiace's mom. And this is your first time meeting her. Girl, you ain't got no rapport with this lady or anything. And you felt the need to ask her that. And it's like, whether she made you feel comfortable or she was feeling or whatever it was Miss Dorothy was doing, at the end of the day, have a little respect. I hope that you're going to be okay when Candiace goes to your mom and asks your mom questions about you. Will she even know anything? Girl, good night. Let's go ahead and move on. Wendy also says that she felt like it was wrong, especially when you know that as friends, Candiace has already kind of addressed that. When Gizelle brought up the fact that she felt like Chris was riding her coattail, it was like, girl, she really didn't want to have that conversation too much then. So what would make you think it's okay to go and ask her mama? Right? No, not cool. So Candiace was very upset about that and calls Mia a wide-hipped woman. I'm hollering with her big feet and her wide hips, girl. Wait a minute. I don't think that Mia's hips are wide. Okay, they may be wider than Candiace's because she's smaller, but I don't think that her hips are wide. I've seen wider hips. Okay, she said that she was plucked from the curb to be paid an allowance from her own husband. I said, come on, pluck from the curb. Not plucked from the curb. You mean plucked from the stripper club? Okay, well, she was a bartender and didn't really know when she became a dancer. Girl, I cannot. That is just too funny to me. So then they speak on, of course, Dorothy and Candiace, all right? So they speak on Miss Dorothy spilling the tea. Karen says that she wanted no parts of the mess when Dorothy was in her ear. That's a lie. I need people to go back and replay it from the beginning. When Karen said, go ahead. She was egging her on to get out what it is she needed to say. When Dorothy said, I don't want to say, Karen continued to talk about Chris, knowing that that was going to get Dorothy to a place where she opened up and started saying things. That's why she already know that Dorothy ain't that crazy about Chris. So for her to say, yeah, he's been juggling a lot, he has his hands in this and that, he has a lot going on. Karen knew what to do. She was doing just enough to get Miss Dorothy to spill some tea. And I don't recall Karen saying that they were mic'd up, but I know for a fact Dorothy made acknowledgement to the fact that they were mic'd up. So she knew exactly what she was doing too. All right. What else ended up happening? Mia says that she loves an honest woman that's a straight shooter. And I said, Mia, you must like an honest woman like that because you're not one your damn self. Is that what it is? That's why you like a woman like Dorothy that's a straight shooter. Okay. And she's an honest, that's what you like? Because you clearly are not that woman yourself, girl. Over here misconstruing people's words and coming up with lies. And girl, go ahead, go on, go away from us with this. Gizelle says that she understands Dorothy's perspective because if someone was latching on to what her daughter had going on, she would have an issue. And I'm like, that's very interesting that you would say that, considering the fact that your daddy, you tried to get your daddy to latch on to the bullshit between you and Jamal on last season, but your daddy had enough courtesy to drag your ass when the cameras was not around. But unfortunately, he was still mic'd. So is that what you're referring to, girl? Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Karen says that she told Dorothy that she can't compete with her man. She will lose every time. I agree with Karen on this, girl. I agree with her. Anything you don't like about Chris, every which way, every single turn, Chris has not gone a single place, girl. Okay, so you'll lose every time. You just let that girl live her life, and that's your problem. You don't have one, so you're so busy, being up behind your daughter. And I like you, Miss Dorothy, for the most part, girl. And I understand that you followed me last year after the whole, Miss Girl and Candiace debacle that happened last year. But girl, I just gotta keep it honest with you, honey. You was foolish and you was out of line, okay? And we need you to go and get you a piece of a life, okay? And leave Candiace's alone. Right? I do feel like that you're at a place where you're seeing that your daughter is slowly not needing you like she did before. Right? Now, that's what it is that I'm seeing. She got her man to be her emotional support, physical, all that other great stuff that she may need from him. And she done moved out of your house. Because you do strike me, Miss Dorothy, as a person that likes to do things for other people just so you can kind of throw it up in their face at a later time. You like to, support these folks, do all this and that. Okay, yeah, you need 1,000. I'll give you 1,000. Okay. And you may be like, oh, you don't even got to give it back. But then 6 months later, y'all have a disagreement and you want to throw that money up in their face. But you still got the 1,000 that I gave you and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, and I offered to pay that shit back and you chose that you didn't want it. So that's how Miss Dorothy strikes me, right? She likes to do things so that she could turn around, take credit for it, and then throw it up in your face at a later time. Yikes, that's dangerous, okay? Candiace speaks on her mom always being her momager in many areas of her life, and she felt like she was losing her place in her life, okay? And that's what I mean when I say I feel like her mom was getting to a place where she sees that Candiace is needing you less, so that's that. And what else did I say? Yeah, you're unable to be at a place where you can really promote how much you provide for your daughter and stuff. So she got it now so far, you know what I'm saying? With her being on Potomac, she's getting a good coin, I'm sure. And she got it now. She's not needing you as much as she may have needed you in the past. All right. And that's what she wanted, right? That's what everybody clowned Miss Candiace about. Oh, you living in your mom's house. And she also said that on Watch What Happens Live, how she's not going to regret, exposing the fact that she was living in her mom's house. Her mom was paying some bills and stuff because generational wealth is something that a lot of people want. And then once she gets it, everybody wants to clown her for it. And then now that she's no longer under the roof of her mom, now y'all mad about that too. And y'all trying to figure out a reason to drag her for that. Well, your mama was paying the bills. Oh, is her mama paying the bills now? Girl, are your bills paid? Did you pay your power and your light bill today? Did you get your mortgage or your rent taken care of? Okay, let's worry about those things. Okay, let's work on that. Love it, girl. I'm reusing it. Let's work on that. Okay, love it. Let's move on. So Karen wanted to support Candiace. Okay, she wanted to support her in the moment with the vehicles because y'all know the vehicles didn't show up and stuff. So Karen pulled that Maserati up like, baby, oh, what's up? Absolutely, that's what I'm gonna do. And she's still trying to get to a better place with Candiace anyway. So I'm sure Karen would have done that for her, and she did. Mia says, I ain't let her lay in my car. I'm like, girl, good night. I'm glad you didn't either, girl. You was enough being in the video. We didn't want your vehicles up. So Gizelle says that she knows this is Candiace's first video and the budget is tight. Well, if you know that this is the first video and you understand that the budget is tight, why would you assume that her husband is making money off this? We'll wait. And we're still waiting. Let's move on. Okay. What else did she say? She says that what else she said? She said that she did not want Candiace's She said something like, well, I understand all of that, but at the same time, I don't want the video to be half-assed. And I said, half-assed, you mean like that makeup line that you put out and got snatched back? Get over here. Which one was it? Are you talking about that, or are you talking about your house? Okay, that's half-assed and you're continuing to work on. Now, I don't know why you didn't get smart with your girl Robyn. We understand that Robyn always has issues with the finances, but at least they got wise and decided to just build the house from the ground up and make sure that it was everything that they wanted to begin with. Whereas you, it seems like you're probably spending out more money getting all of these renovations done to your home, when you could have just knocked that damn house down that you had on all that land and just rebuilt from the ground up. Okay, but you want to talk about half-ass, but you about to go and host an event at your house on next week, half-ass, and then trying to restrict people from using the bathroom. Girl, good night. You should have waited. Y'all should have waited. Y'all should have went and found another location at somebody else's house or another private room or something that y'all should have done, girl. Got these people over here half-ass and barely can walk through the gravel just so they could go and have a seat on a piece of furniture in front of your house. And no, ma'am. Okay, so that's that on that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Bye, wig. Mia says that she wasn't moving hers, okay? And I'm like, Mia said she wasn't gonna move her car for Candiace. She wasn't gonna use mine at all. And we know you weren't gonna move your car because you barely can move your face. Let's move on. So then, okay, she decides to move forward and decide that she's gonna go over there and attack Miss Askale, saying that Askale moved her car, but she can move her cars all day long with the little dealer's tag on it. And what is it to you if she do got a dealer's tag? What is it to you, girl? What is it to you, girl? We ain't looking at the dealer's tag. First of all, that was blurred out. Okay, and then when they do put it in the video, ain't nobody even looking at that. But see, you pressed about Miss Askale because she's fine. Okay, she got a coin too. She look good. She's reasonable. Girl, I can't deal with her. You is upset about Mrs. Askale, honey. But Askale seems like she calls everybody out, whether they right or wrong. You know, she just, I feel like her opinion is very unbiased. She ain't picking no sides with nobody. If you're wrong, she'll tell you, Candiace, you're out of line. Mia, I don't think that was right. Robyn, you do. And Robyn's her own friend. She came onto the show because she's friends with Robyn. She's even called Robyn out for being more of a friend to Gizelle than anything. So it is what it is. What else she said? First you said it was a dealer's tag. Then you turned around and said it was a new car tag. Girl, which one is it? Because they're two different things. Which one is it going to be? Oh, okay, then let's go ahead and keep going, right? So Gizelle throws shade at Candiace's voice and says that, when they get ready to do the video shoot, the cars and everything is going to look good. They're going to add a bit of auto-tune and add this and add that. And I said, not you trying to throw shade at Candiace's voice. We all know that she ain't no damn Kelly Rowland, but she definitely can hold a note and she can sing. Are you jealous? What are your other talents that you have over there in your pocket? We're still waiting from the beginning. Anyway, let's move on. So then Chris gets to the video shoot. Gizelle says that Chris should have changed his clothes and put on a hoodie and some Timberlands before he came out there. You sound ignorant as fuck. Out of all the things he could put on, she should have put on a damn hoodie and some Tims. Yeah, no. And when you're frustrated about sometimes you walk out the damn house and you don't even think that you got your anchoring on or anything. You're trying to get things squared away so you can go back to the next thing. Okay, but you want to sit up here and talk about, girl, you don't need to be talking about anybody's fashions and how they should have showed up to address somebody. Okay, let's move on. Robyn throws shade at Chris about him being at home and needing something to do. Coming from the woman who's been at home and has plenty of things to do, but won't even get up to go wake your kids up and they up there failing. What are we talking about here, girl? What are we talking about? You got plenty of things to do, like keep that man happy, and he don't seem to be happy in that particular moment because you too damn lazy, okay? But we're going to move on because you working through that, so let's move on, okay? Ashley says that she thinks him being her manager, being Candiace's manager, is a recipe for a disaster because she has worked with her husband before, yet you're willing to go out here and work with your husband again on a film industry. Hey, really? That's what you're looking forward to doing? And your own family don't even agree with that? Woo, girl, everybody in the cast can go away from me with this, okay? That's that on that, but I'm gonna go ahead and move over to some tweets because when we were watching What Happens Live, Andy referenced the fact that Candiace called Gizelle's home a cabin, right? So he referenced that and asked if she regrets it, and she was like, no, I don't. And let me tell y'all, I'm so glad that she doesn't, because when I say this shit had me hollering when I read this was good. And actually, this is for y'all people that be saying, Candiace, you ain't getting Gizelle together. You ain't getting Gizelle together. I still stand by the fact that when they were at the house down there in Williamsburg, she didn't need to get Gizelle together because Wendy was getting Gizelle together, but Wendy failed to get Ashley together because Ashley just had a baby. So I'm glad that while Wendy was getting at Gizelle, Candiace decided to get at Ashley. Okay, so nobody left unscathed. How about that? But let's move on to this tweet because she has some words for, or not this tweet, but this IG comment, because she has some words for Miss Gizelle. Candiace says, now, Gizelle, as you attempt to rub your coins together to make a teardown look like a home, let's not. And these lies. Dorothy ain't say SHI to you. Stay in your struggle and worry about where you gonna live when your $900,000 cabin caves in. Do you hear me? When your $900,000 cabin caves in. Not $900,000 and you still over there building on it. How about? Girl, you could have went somewhere else. You could have went somewhere else and got you a more sturdy home. And everything that you needed. Girl, I cannot. I was definitely here for this read and this clap back of Miss Gizelle having the things to say regarding whatever Miss Dorothy may have told her or whatever. I was like, read down, Candiace. Because if Candiace ain't gonna do nothing, Candiace is going to read y'all down. Okay, she's definitely going to read y'all down. Now let's go ahead and move on to these two ladies, okay? Because like I told y'all, Miss Mia has been throwing shots at our girl Askale. Askale not understanding where any of this stuff is coming from. Like, girl, what did I do to you? Okay, so this is where it kind of, we already know she threw shade in the after show, but this is another part of where things have come from, right? So Mia, there was a post where somebody put this up and it looks like it was on the neighborhood talk, right? So this came from Twitter. The original post said, Mia said, I didn't want to show up to anything low budget. And Candiace said, your mama low budget. Watch your mouth. I'm on the floor. Candiace has officially won me over. Ain't no way. Hashtag Real Housewives of Potomac. And guys, this is in reference to next week's episode, right? Where the ladies are going to be at Gizelle's teardown of a cabin, okay? So in the bottom, somebody says that firstly, Candy mother was speaking SHI to everyone, not just Mia Thornton, but she wasn't speaking to everyone. That's number one. She was primarily talking to Mia and Karen, but then she also, chimed in with Miss Robyn. I will say that. So then Mia says, yep, but Wendy and Askale, this is what she's calling Askale, Askale failed to share this information with Candiace. And here's the thing for me. She failed to share this information with Candiace, Miss Girl, because when she went to go talk to the ladies, when Wendy primarily went to go talk to Candiace, you was already over there. Gizelle and Robyn weren't over there at that time. It was just you and Karen. It was just y'all over there all in the beeswax. So that's when she found out. But after the fact, we'll see how that's going to play out on next week's episode, how Askale may bring the story to Candiace and tell who was all over there, at the end of the day. So that's that. But let's go ahead and move on to some of the tweets that Askale put out onto Twitter after she saw this. The first thing she says is, I'm honestly the least problematic person on the show. I generally am a very fair person that tries to approach each situation with love. However, what I will not tolerate is the constant unprovoked attacks. Hashtag RHOP. And yes, she is speaking to you, Mia. Okay, this lady ain't do nothing to you yet. You got to find somebody to argue with, honey. Let's go ahead and move on because Askale had one more thing to say. She says, now let me get back to enjoying my age-appropriate husband. Be blessed, loves. Okay, so she is definitely taking some shots at Miss Mia, girl, because your husband is God knows how many decades older than you, whereas she feels as though her husband is age-appropriate. Girl, I am hollering, I am screaming. I would not mind seeing Askale on the show a bit more. She is funny, honey. Yeah, that's really all that I have. I don't mind Askale coming back and clapping back because Mia always got something to say to and about everybody. 1 minute, Wendy is the person you respect the most, and then Wendy is the person you respect the least. Which one is it? But yet you hold Miss Karen in such a high regard. Which you don't respect Karen the most is Wendy. Okay, I think she said it was Wendy's marriage that she respects the most, or when and her marriage she respects the least, or something like that. But it was Wendy, okay, on the most and on the high end, the low end, okay. But y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below. Let me know your thoughts about everything that I discussed today over here on the quick chat. I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.